Imagine spending 10 years practicing a skill almost every single day, only to realize you're barely any better than when you started. Sounds impossible, right? But it happens all the time. There are people who've spoken their native language every day for decades without expanding their vocabulary or becoming more articulate. People who've typed on keyboards every day for years without getting any faster. Even chess players can play hundreds of casual games every year without becoming significantly stronger. So here's the real question. If practice is supposed to make perfect, why do so many people stop improving? The answer isn't that they are not practicing enough. It's that they're practicing the wrong way. Most of us think experience automatically leads to improvement. It doesn't. Think about driving. If you've been driving for 10 years, are you still becoming a noticeably better driver every week? Probably not. Because at some point, your brain switches to autopilot. You're no longer learning, you're simply repeating what you already know. And that's exactly where progress dies. Researchers even have a name for this. They call it the OK plateau. It's the point where you're good enough to stop paying attention. You can perform the skill comfortably, but you're no longer improving it. And that's where most people stay for years, sometimes forever. So what do experts do differently? Psychologist Anders Ericsson spent decades studying elite performers, musicians, chess players, surgeons. His conclusion was that the world's best were not practicing more. They were practicing differently. Instead of repeating what they were already good at, they spent most of their time working on what they were bad at. And that makes a huge difference. Because your brain only grows when it's challenged by something it cannot do yet. So if you can do it comfortably every time, you're practicing what you know, not expanding what you can do. Your brain is just performing, not growing. So what does effective practice actually look like? It starts with one tiny specific target. For example, if you want to become a better baker, try focusing on baking the perfect cookies. If you want to become a better chess player, try focusing on mastering a single opening. And so on, because the smaller the target, the easier it is to improve. You're not trying to master everything at once. You're training one skill at a time. And that's the difference between practicing and actually getting better. Focus on something small. Repeat it constantly, and you're definitely going to master it. Next comes feedback. Without feedback, you don't fix mistakes. You just repeat them. Sometimes all it takes is a teacher, a coach, or even yourself. You can record yourself and ask honestly, what exactly needs to improve next? What was the weakest part? An honest answer to these questions can lead you to where you want to be. Then comes the uncomfortable part. Real practice should feel difficult. Not impossible, just hard enough that you make mistakes regularly. In fact, if every practice session leaves you feeling confident, there's a good chance that you're not challenging yourself enough. Ironically, the feeling that you're struggling is often an evidence that your brain is actually learning. And this is where most people get it wrong. They keep repeating what feels easy, because it feels like progress, like reading their notes over and over until everything looks familiar. But the moment they walk into an exam, the familiarity disappears. Because real progress doesn't come from what feels easy. It comes from what forces your brain to actually recall. So the next time you sit down to practice anything, don't ask yourself, how many hours did I spend? Ask yourself something much more important. Did I spend those hours repeating what I already know, or challenging what I still can't do? Because those are two completely different things. One is performance, the other is growth. And that one small difference explains why some people improve dramatically, while others stay exactly where they are for years. So here's a challenge. The next time you practice anything, don't aim to feel comfortable. Instead, aim to feel slightly uncomfortable, because that's usually where improvement begins. And once you understand that, you'll never look at practice the same way again.